Hello again, everybody. It's Sunday today, and yes, I know I missed yesterday. Um, no excuses, just got caught up in the afternoon, and then it was just time to be with Justin, and it was just nice to have a nice night. I hope you're having a good weekend, and I hope that my microphone is working. Sometimes I use the earbuds, and I'm using my Rode microphone, so there you go. Just sit him in a little cup. Then I didn't have to buy a special little tripod. So apparently it's a very good microphone. So hopefully you can hear me all right. Let me know if you can, if you wouldn't mind, if there's anyone out there. Otherwise, you might be watching it later on, and that's fine too. So we're getting towards the end of that letter we were reading. It's about page and 3/4. So here we go. I got news this afternoon that Amanda and I should be going to the Helena Jones house at Albion next week. Helena Jones is a minimum security communal house to help women integrate back into society. That's what we were told, and it is supposed to be. It also offers a lot more freedom and privileges, thanks to those who've been praying for me. So I was really looking forward to going. Part of me does not want to leave these women. When I told them I was leaving, several came to hug me and say how they will miss my cheeriness and the strange things I would say. Yeah, she's still saying strange things. One informed me that I was moving quickly because I am a stiff. I actually wasn't moving that quickly. It's supposed to be within the first couple of weeks that you get moved and assessed and moved, but this really was taking quite a long time. But the Department of Corrections is not it's not a customer service based industry, so you know you just sit and wait till something happens. I think I could have complained to the management about the poor service. These are my taxpayer dollars at work. So, yes, I was moving quickly because I'm a stiff. She was giving me a compliment. Um, there's no hiding my straightness. For example, one time a couple of the drug addicts were looking at my arms. So, oh no, they let me, and they were looking at my arms because I'm so pale, but they let me look at their arms close up. Oh, so those are track marks. They had deep purple marks about an inch long, um, all over their hands, all over the back of their hands and their hands and their arms. And that's not what I had imagined them to be. I thought they'd be sort of, a track mark down from the crook of the elbow, sort of long and coming down. And no, they were like short little marks. And yeah, that's so I was fascinated. um, yeah, so they were quite happy for me to, like, I think they just enjoyed the attention perhaps, or it was just nice to have a conversation where I was genuinely learning stuff, from them. And so I turned out my lily white arms again. So I had my lily white arms, I turned them out and I said, check out these babies, pure virgins. We all laughed at my straightness. I'm known as a 180 straighty in both sexual preference and lifestyle. In fact, one of them reached my arm. I didn't write it in here, but she grabbed my arm and squeezed it here, gave it a professional tap, and she said, yep, good veins. Oh dear. I sat in the concrete yard this evening, where most of the women sit, having their final smoke for the day. Of course, they can't do that now. The air was filled with quiet chatter, punctuated with profanity that I scarcely noticed. The Lord had answered my prayer that it be like white noise in the background and unnoticed by my ears. And yeah, there's only two words that they use. Neither of them are Jesus or Christ. It's right at the end of the spectrum. They use the F word and the C word, and they're used as both verbs and nouns, however you want to use them. However they can be peppered into a sentence, that's just what happens. So I just went, oh. Um, it's always disconcerting to hear women use the C word. It's like, oh, really? It's like, oh. So anyway, um, it did become like white noise, which was a relief. My heart filled with love. I looked around, making eye contact with various ones, and they smiled back at me. We were all here together: drug addicts, bullies, lesbians, drunken disqualified drivers, a grandmother pensioner. Everybody's there. Um, in fact, this grandmother pensioner, her husband had a cash job on the side, uh, doing. I, it's so hard to believe, but it's true. Her husband had a cash job on the side doing people's gardens, and they didn't tell Centrelink, so they're collecting their aged pension and this extra money, but not declaring it. And so she was given. He was sentenced to 4 months for fraud, and she was sentenced to 4 months because she benefited from his illegal activities. Crazy. And I was writing this 10 years ago, and now there's a whole gamut of, like I've mentioned lesbians, they're bisexual. Um, we didn't, there wasn't a controversy at the time over transgender. I know there's a full range of what people um, identify themselves as now. It was a bit narrower then in terms of what was noticed and what got talked about. So I don't know. I don't know what happens with people with the fuller range now. They tend to be very indulgent with same-sex relationships. That was my observation. It was unofficial. Officially, it wasn't recognised, but many of them were allowed to bunk in together, which made me extremely jealous, not of the women, but the fact that I couldn't have my husband bunking in with me. I don't think I would like to even have that sort of a visit. I want to keep my marriage and my prison time totally separate. I even took my wedding ring off, and that hand, there it is there. But I took my rings off and gave them to my mum to look after because I didn't want them. I didn't want them tainted by having someone from a prison in charge of them when you go in and you put all your things into safekeeping. Anyway, there was another old lady there who oh yeah, that lady who was a pensioner. So she was doing 4 months, and when she gets out, they will have to pay back the money that they were overpaid that they weren't entitled to. So not only were they punished by prison, the pension they couldn't live on before, they'll be deducted until it's all paid back. So that's just that's pretty harsh to me. And if you're thinking, well, they just broke the law, they committed fraud, I would ask you to consider if you've been, I'm talking about this, but I've probably already written about it somewhere else. But if you have been the customer of someone doing a cashy, then you're just as complicit, really. You can twist around and say, well, it's their choice, and but really, to permit is to participate. But yeah, it takes two to make a transaction. I'm not judging. I'm not judging, by the way. I don't really care if someone's got, making a bit of extra money. They're on a pension and they make a bit of extra money. I'm not going to dob them in. Lock me up for that one. Okay. So another old lady was in there because she told the police that the drugs they found were not her grandson's. Oh, they were hers. Yeah, because, she didn't want him ruining his future. Mm. So there's an old lady in prison. I don't know how that works. I don't know. It must have been a lot. I don't know. At least that's what I was told. Yeah, right. Toothless, obese, skinny, gamblers, armed robbers, assault and battery perpetrators, women who'd killed their childhood molester. Yep, they're there. Those on remand for murder, and others who've taken lives. All there. Yeah, it is heavy, yeah, Ashley. That's what I was told. I was told that about more than one person, although not directly from the particular person. But yeah, it can happen because some people will do whatever it takes to help out their, the young ones. Um, but it's complicated because I don't know whether the grandson would have given up drugs because grandma went to jail for him. I don't know. I don't know the rest of the story. That would be an interesting one. And to let your grandma go to jail, that's cold. Justin spoke to the lawyers actually and said he asked if he could go to prison in my place should I get sentenced, and they said no, you're not allowed to. And I said to him, I said, honey, no, you're way too pretty for prison. And he is. Those of you who know my husband, he's a good looking man. Mm. I'm glad you're enjoying the stories. Okay, all right. Okay, so all these people are in there sitting around, and this may be hard to hear, but somehow, to me, they all had a beauty emanating from them. Gosh, I was weird back then, but that's what I saw. It was a warm, touching, supernatural feeling for me. They were all, wow, can't believe I wrote this. They were all daughters of the king, princesses who didn't know it. They didn't know who they were, so they behaved like someone else. Don't we all do that? I mean, if you don't know that you're the daughter of the king, that you are a daughter of the living God, whatever your faith may be, but if you don't know who you are and your human worth, then you'll often behave less than worthy. Okay, I'm getting a bit whoopsie here, aren't I? Bit woo woo. So my new age friends, my spiritual friends call it. So it's a bit woo woo. It's strange to feel this. It's strange to feel this from people who are capable of terrible evil, but aren't we all? Well, I don't know. I'm not as bad as them, really. It reminds me, all have sinned and fallen short. I hope I continue to see as Christ sees long after I leave. Have I continued? I think it's something that you need to renew your awareness of, because you can get busy and get on with things, and you can get offended by people, and stuff happens, and your heart can get hard. But this is a good reminder. I hope I continue to see as Christ sees long after I leave. I hope it takes less than prison for each of you to see the people around you in the same way. Let me read that again, because I want to look at you while I read it. I hope it takes less than prison for each of you to see the people around you the same way, no matter how icky. I have not felt this joy, satisfaction, and powerful anointing in years. Can I say that all the rubbish I've been through was worth it to get to this? If I had known what a blessed time I would have in here, I would not have suffered so much. I can't believe I said that so early. What date is this? I was delusional. 10th of February, I wrote that over a period of a few days, and the one after that is the 14th. Okay, so a period of a few days. But I do remember I just had this joy. Of course, I didn't know what was ahead. So I didn't always think it was worth it. Now, when I look back, I do. But the suffering I went through in the years leading up to going to prison, not knowing whether or not I was going, because 2005 was when everything collapsed, and then it was, this is '09, this is happening. Wow. By the way, even though, yeah, so yeah, I would not have suffered so much knowing, here's a point, I would not have suffered so much if I had known the blessing that would come out of it. So you might be going through some stuff and I've got to think which way is right and left because my lights are over here. That's the right. So if I go this way, hopefully I can't remember which way you're facing because it's not a mirror image. Ah, this is your left. Ashley, is this your left? Am I pointing to your left when you're looking at the screen? Anyway, so point being, as you go through life, as you go through stuff, um, if you knew here the good that was going to come out here from the crap here, then this would be easier to go through. Because on your way, it's fear of the unknown, it's pain, it's um, dismay, it's what the heck is going on? Where are you, God? What are you doing with this? Don't you know how much pain I'm in? And you can get so focused on here that you almost feel like you're drowning. But if you knew what was at the end and what it would do for your life, and when you're in it, you can't imagine what that might be. But even if you just have an acknowledgement of the hope that there might be something, then it can ease that burden and it would be an easier way to go through because you're going to go through it anyway. You're going to go through stuff anyway. So you can do it the hard way or the harder way. I don't know if there's any easy ways. I don't know. Anyway, so there's that. I just thought that was worth talking about. So, oh look, I've got to scroll down. Okay, the lights are on our left. Okay, good. So, thanks, Gillian, or is it Gillian? So, if you like to, so this is the past then, and you would go forward to the future. So I've got to go this way. Is that right? So if you were moving forward, if this was a book, you'd be reading from left to right. Okay. Because when I'm on a platform, I know I go this way to this way. No, I go this way. Yeah, I go this way to this way. So it's like a platform. Anyway, sorry about that. It's just one of those things that can be disorienting for people if you're saying the future and you're pointing towards the wrong side. So it's this way. The crap starts here. You go through it. Yeah, that's right. You go through it and you come out the other side over there. Yay! Thank you, Ashley and Killian. All right, where was I up to? I thought this was going to be a quick reading. Getting carried away. I'm starting to get used to this online stuff because I can, especially if there's someone typing away in the box, like, oh, there really is someone there, and I know there will be eventually. So feel free when you watch this, just add whatever comments you want to. It's great fun. All right, so where are we up to? Yes, I would not have suffered so much. Faylene Sparks is a minister and a prophet, and she often quotes the verse that if the devil had known the power of the cross and what it would achieve, he never would have crucified the Lord of glory. If the devil had known the good that would come out of your story and what it would do, he never would mess with you. But often it depends on how we respond to it. Often we don't get that end story, we don't get that good outcome because we're stuck in the pain and the resentment and the unforgiveness and the self recriminations, and we just get stuck there. And we don't have to be stuck there. We don't. It's a lie. I call it getting revenge on the devil, making him wish he'd never touched my life so he'll think twice next time. It's a nice idea that he might think twice next time, but he still has a go every now and again because he's dumb. Actually, he's pretty clever. But he's under our feet. Anyway, enough of that. Okay, by the way, even though I can't talk about God, you can imagine talking like that to normal people. They'd just be like, she's so weird. Even though I can't talk about God, a lady asked me to help her write a letter to her uncle and aunt who look after her children. She wanted to ask their forgiveness and beg to be able to see them. That's pretty heavy. I prayed and I wrote a letter of humble repentance with her and explained God's grace and forgiveness. I then gave her Bronwyn Healy's book, Trophy of Grace. So you can tag Bronwyn because her book is so popular in there. That book, Trophy of Grace, get the book, Bronwyn Healy. Her name is spelt Bronwyn, Healy, Healy, and her book is called Trophy of Grace. And she's just the most beautiful person who has a story of her own. And even though she didn't go to jail, her book is in the jail, and a lot of women can relate to what she's been through and just the beautiful triumph that she is. That's her life. Okay, so I gave her that book from the library, and I pointed out the salvation prayer at the end, and she's ready to ask Jesus into her life. Prison is proving to be one of the most exciting and satisfying times of my life. Oh, oh, Trish, you were so naive. I'm not being cruel because I'm laughing at me. I'm not laughing at someone else. I'm laughing at this chick. And you know what? It really was. But it was long. I mean, it's still February. I only went in January, and I didn't come out until September. So we're going to go through a number of ups and downs in this journey. But I don't want to spoil the ending. I don't want to spoil the ending of this book, but she does get out. It's the journey that we take that's interesting. Anyway, all right, so we're finishing up now. Feel free to forward this letter to whomever you wish. Thanks again for all your prayers. God bless, Trish. And feel free to share my videos. I've just decided to made the settings public, and if people enjoy it, they enjoy it. If they get something out of it, great. And hopefully I'll make a few book sales. So if you want to rush ahead, you can feel free to order my book from speakertrishjenkins.com/store. You can get it as an ebook or I should say the environmentally friendly version and the physical one. So, and if you're in Australia and I get the notice, I can sign it for you. But otherwise, you can just get it there, and Amazon have it when you're overseas. And also, if you are connected with any churches and they are interested, or you're interested in doing, I can do an online message because I do preach and minister. Can't lay hands on anyone, but that's what got me in trouble in prison. But happy to share with the church on a Sunday morning, or I could do my own. But if someone's got a church that you really want me to share to, I'm happy to do that for you. especially during this downtime, bring some encouragement and some resilience to the faith. All right, then. So bless you heaps. And mum and dad are coming over and bringing their roast dinner. I've done the pumpkin. So I love roast pumpkin. Yum. Weekend. So I love having dinner with mum and dad. That'll be fun. Whatever you're doing tonight, have a great night. Enjoy it. And remember to be kind and compassionate and love each other. All right. Enjoy. Bless you heaps. Bye.